Welcome to genetics. This topic is all about the blueprint of life and how it's passed from generation to generation. Have you ever wondered why you look like your parents but still have your own unique features? Well, genetics holds the answers. Today, we'll cover the structure and function of DNA, the molecule that holds our genetic information, patterns of inheritance, which explain how traits are passed down, and genetic disorders, which show how changes in DNA can affect our health. By the end, you'll be able to see how a molecule much smaller than a grain of salt can determine so much about who we are and our health. DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, is a double helix molecule made of two strands twisted around each other. Each strand is built from nucleotides, which contain one sugar molecule, one phosphate group, and one nitrogen base, such as adenine, thymine, cytosine, or guanine. Adenine pairs with thymine and cytosine pairs with guanine, almost like puzzle pieces. This pairing ensures that when the DNA replicates, the new strand is an exact copy. DNA structure is elegant yet incredibly stable, which is why it can store information across generations. Imagine a single human cell, which contains about 2 meters of DNA packed tightly into the nucleus. Isn't it amazing to see how such a tiny space can hold so much information? Next, we have Mendelian genetics. Mendelian genetics explains how traits are passed down from generation to generation. Each trait is controlled by two alleles, one from each parent. Dominant alleles mask recessive ones, which is why brown eyes, a dominant trait, are more common than blue eyes, a recessive trait. To predict inheritance, we use tools like Punnett squares. For example, if both parents are carriers of a recessive disorder, there's a 25% chance their child will have it. But inheritance isn't always straightforward. Some traits, like blood type, involve multiple alleles, and others, like height, are influenced by multiple genes and environmental factors. What traits run in your family? Can you see these patterns in action? Sometimes mutations, like changes in DNA, lead to disorders. For example, in sickle cell anemia, Down syndrome, and Huntington's. Sickle cell anemia causes red blood cells to become crescent-shaped, affecting oxygen transport. Down syndrome results from an extra copy of chromosome 21, which further affects the way that kids develop. And Huntington's disease, a dominant disorder, causes neurological degeneration later in life. For these disorders, genetic counseling can help families understand these conditions and make informed decisions. Advances in gene therapy are opening new possibilities for treatment. Imagine a future where inherited disorders could be cured before symptoms begin to appear. To recap, let's answer these questions. 1. Name the base pairs in DNA. 2. What's the difference between dominant and recessive traits? And 3. Give an example of a genetic disorder. Feel free to share your thoughts as we reflect on the power of genetics.